Hey there, writers and muse daters. I'm talking to you today about how to find a literary agent. So this is one of the questions that writers ask me a whole lot because they're really frustrated with the process of finding an agent. It's an area where lots of people get rejected. So for those of you who don't know about how the process works for getting traditionally published, when you are looking to traditionally publish a piece of fiction, a novel, an anthology of short stories, the first step typically is to find a literary agent, and there are thousands of them out there, and they all represent different genres. And you know, they get a lot of manuscripts every day, as I'm sure you can imagine, and they reject a lot of manuscripts every day, as I'm sure you can imagine. And so most people who have been writing for a while now have a story about rejection and how many times they've been rejected by a literary agent. So it's tough stuff. It's not really easy. And so this is why so many writers are coming to me and saying, how do I get an agent? How does this work? Thank you for the like, whoever's watching. Hello, please do say hello and tell me where you're watching from. So, as I was saying, people are asking me, how do I get an agent? This is so hard. I've been rejected. What's the process? How do people over in the writing gym have such a high success rate of getting an agent? And so you may have heard my story before about how I got my agent, and that I got my agent in the very first round of submissions. And what that means, for those of you who haven't been doing this a whole lot, is that I sent out my first 20 or so letters, and I went camping in Maine, and within 24 hours, I had a positive response. And that almost never happens. And that same system that I used for myself is the same system that we use over in the Writing Gym Publishing Mastermind for our authors to get published. So we've got a proven system over there, a strategy, a way of working. So I have some exciting news to share with you today. Many of you know that I have many agents with whom I work and with whom I've got good relationships, and I'm sending my authors to. You know, because I've spoken to you about this on many occasions in Facebook Lives, that I'm speaking to these people on a regular basis to say, hey, what are you looking for? What do you see is trending? What are some of the changes coming down the pike? What are we looking at in the publishing industry right now? So I got a really exciting email last week from somebody that I know in New York, and she said, hey, we are opening up a new literary agency. And I'm so excited for her. She is amazing. She's been working on foreign rights for one of the big 5 publishers. She knows a ton about not only getting your book published here in the US, but also abroad and how that distribution works. She's a fabulous business manager and contract negotiator, which is an attribute that you really want in an agent. So I absolutely love her. And she reached out to me and said, hey, I would like to work with your clients. I know the quality of writing that's coming out of the writing gym. How can I represent some of your authors with the big houses out there? And so she and I had a fabulous conversation this morning. We talked specifically about some of the writers who are currently enrolled in the writing gym and the writing gym mastermind, publishing mastermind, about how they can get representation through her agency. She's really excited to read their manuscripts, and she and I are going to have lunch when I'm in New York in a couple of weeks here, and talk some more about how you can get published. So how do you get a literary agent? Well, you can do it the really hard, arduous way and keep sending out letters for 3 years is the average amount of time that it takes an author to find an agent. Or you can get on a call with me and we can talk about the Publishing Mastermind and how you can work with one of the agents that I talk to every week. If you'd like to talk with me about how you can get published, I'll throw a link in the comments. I look forward to chatting with you about your writing.